Hello and welcome to All About Sport. I'm Louise O'Reilly. On our show tonight I am joined by Micky Brennan, who is already familiar to many of GAA circles here in Cavan Town, having represented the county and also his club Drumley, where he has won many county titles. And we're hoping to see more of him on All About Sport in the coming months to tell us what's happening with football in Cavan. So Micky Brennan, very well known from the Side Door restaurant. Anyone who's graced the Side Door restaurant will know your face very well.
Probably will, yeah.
I'm delighted to have you part of the team and here on the show tonight. So, Micky, you are, well, you've adopted Drumley as your club, and you've adopted Cavan as your new county. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up here in Cavan.
Yeah, no problem. Well, what happened was I came to work in the Side Door restaurant 12 years ago, and I decided that I was going to try and get back into football. I played for Simon St. Gales in Navan, and I decided that it was something I wanted to pursue in Cavan. Yeah. I ended up joining Drumley, and within a couple of years I was asked would I play for the county team, and I of course was delighted and said yeah. So I played on and off for 7 years with Cavan. I've won 2 intermediate championships with Drumley and a couple of Division 2, Division 3 leagues as well. And here I am today, sitting in here with you.
You've got all the knowledge.
The pinnacle of my career.
You've got all the knowledge, and you know exactly what goes on. At the county teams. You know how it works. So what better person to have here in front of us to give us to analyse what's been happening. So we're going to come to the county team first of all. Okay. First game of the league was Cavan versus Antrim. It wasn't a great start for the league, Micky.
No. Round 1 of the Alliance League Division 3, and Cavan were away to Antrim on the Sunday afternoon. We chased that game for much of the game. We never got ahead, and we never looked like winning that game. It ended up being 1-14 to Antrim, 2-9 to Cavan, 2-point loss, and it was disappointing because it could have been a good day for Cavan. It meant that we were kind of on the back foot going into our next game, which was Monaghan. The
Monaghan game. Yeah. What did you think of that game? A lot of talk about that game. I suppose Cavan were very hungry for the win.
Yeah, obviously, after losing to Antrim the first day, Cavan had a point to prove. Monaghan were after coming off the back of a hammering. They hammered Meath the week beforehand. I think the score was 118 to 2-3.
I like the way you said hammered.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like, in fairness, I know it's my native county, but they were hammered by Monaghan. So Monaghan, I think, came down to Cavan thinking that it was just going to be a stroll in the park. And they didn't have things their own way.
Did Cavan, you think? Oh yeah, go on ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say Cavan that they rang out the changes. They brought in 4 new players for that game. Alan O'Mara came into goals. Killian Brady came in at corner back. Tomas Corr came in at midfield, and Jack Brady from Rammer came in at corner forward. Now the changes they made definitely did help out, but in particular on the day, Cian Mackey and Gerard McKiernan stood out. They were all over the pitch, and they really did bring the game to Monaghan, and they were the reason why Cavan won so easily. Yeah.
Did you think the referee had a bearing on the results of that game? There was 5 players sent off, 2 of our own players.
The referee, he was poor enough now. He was brandishing the yellow cards, and there was a couple of red cards out there that should have probably gone down as yellow cards. They were harsh sending off. As a bearing on the game, I don't think so. Monaghan had 2 players sent off in the last 10 minutes of the game, but at that stage Martin Riley had come on, scored a penalty, and the game was over as a contest at that stage. I think Monaghan, I think they were just a little bit aggressive in the last few minutes and lost a couple of players, but I don't think it had much of a bearing on the result as such.
How much of a blow will the absence of Martin Dunn and John McCutcheons be for the next game, which is on the 2nd of March in against Meath?
Yeah, against Meath. Martin Dunn, he was only on for 10 minutes and had scored 2 points. Sorry, and he will be a loss at corner forward. Yeah. He is the answer. He's Cavan's answer to losing Shawnee Johnston. Basically, Shawnee was our corner forward. Martin Dunn is in now. Yeah. He's a great footballer. He could score off both feet. He's going to be a big miss for the next day. John McCutcheon only got 2 yellow cards, so John will be fine. He'll be there the next day. He'll be allowed to play. But Martin, he'll be a big loss, especially down in Navan. Which I know it may sound funny, but the pitch in Navan will suit Cavan down to the ground. And I do think that, you know, if we can move the ball quick in Navan, we could beat Meath. We could be.
Yeah, that's hard for you to say coming from a Meath man. But you've really, you know, you've embraced Cavan. I mean, we kind of were saying you are Cavan now. You know, you've played for Cavan, so it's hard to go back, Mickey. There's no going back now.
No, there's definitely no
I hope you're going to
back.
wear your Cavan jersey to that particular game. Do you think? I suppose Terry Hyland. What do you think of the team that he sent out and that he's put together? You know, do you think he has his work cut out for him really with the league?
Well, Cavan are in transition at the minute, and Terry is the man who is ringing out all the changes. He's really brought in a lot of young guys into this team. You know, we've got Rory Dunn there at full back. He's after bringing Alan Clark back in from Kingscourt into the team. You know, Cian Mackey is back. There's Martin Dunn, Jack Brady. These are all young guys that have played under 21. Killian Brady there as well, and there's Killian Clark. Like, there's definitely the makings of a great team on the way.
There's that young under 21 team that are coming up now. So we've had Terry in, and it is.
And they've all played under Terry at under 21.
So they're very familiar. He's familiar with them, and he knows, I suppose, what they're capable of. I suppose this is his second year now, so you know, I suppose people are going to be looking to Terry to make an impact.
They are, but people are going to have to be patient with him, because it is, as I said, it is a transition. It's going to take a year or two to get up to scratch. You know, in the next few games Cavan have in Division 3, it's not going to be easy. We could get promoted from Division 3. I think it's going to be between Meath, Cavan and Monaghan for second place. I do think that Fermanagh are probably the team to watch in Division 3.
I think they might come out on top.
Nobody would have given them a prayer at the start of the league, but they've had 2 great wins. They went down to Wicklow. They played in Aughrim, beat Wicklow well, scored 116, and not a lot of teams do that in Wicklow. And then they beat Roscommon with another high score of 212. They've got 2 wins out of 2, the only team that have 2 wins out of 2 in Division 3. And I think they're going to be the hardest team to beat in Division 3. So it's going to be between Meath, Cavan and Monaghan for the 3rd place, I think.
Okay. Well, we'll be hoping for good news. So the next game is Meath versus Cavan in Navan on the 2nd of March. You know, how do you think? How do you think that game? What's you from Meath? What's the Meath team like?
Yeah,
how have they got on so far?
Meath lost the first day, as I said, to Monaghan, but they won the second day against Wicklow. Meath again, a team in transition. But I do think they're there for the taking on the next day. The pitch will suit Cavan, and if we get stuck in and we defend the way we did against Monaghan, you know, Meath will find it very hard to score. Like in fairness, against Monaghan at half time, Cavan were leading 7 points to 1, and that just shows you in the second half Monaghan only scored 4 points, you know, 5 points overall. So our defence was very, very good. If we can get our defence as good against Meath, I think, you know, we've a really good chance of beating Meath in their own backyard. Yeah, come on, I'm glad to hear that. And you've heard that here in All About Sport from a Meath man. So you know who to get on to. So the next 2 games are away games. So the game gives a rundown of the games to come. Yeah, the next up, as I said, is Meath, and that's in Navan, and then we have Sligo away. You know, they're 2 massive games for Cavan. Sligo, never easy down in Sligo. And the following game, that's the away game again. Yeah, there are 2 away games in a row, and then we have Fermanagh in Cavan, and then, you know, that'll be a huge game. And then we've Wicklow away, and then we're back home for our last game against Roscommon. But the next 3 games are vital for Cavan's progression this year in Division 3. That is, I mean, we're all hoping that they can maybe surprise us. I mean, the Fermanagh team has been very, I suppose, dominant, but hopefully that we can come in maybe even in second place, if not. The way it looks so far is that Fermanagh probably will be the team to beat to get top place, and then it's probably between Cavan, Meath and Monaghan for second place. You know, Monaghan again, although they came off the great win against Meath and came down here to Cavan, it did look a little bit like they kind of took for granted that they were going to beat us. You know, they left Tommy Freeman on the bench. He was a substitute. He only came on in the second half. He scored 2 points in the second half. But, you know, Monaghan, they're going to have to buck up now as well. Meath are going to have to buck up, and I think Cavan, with that win under their belt, really can push on.
Who in your opinion, is what we need to look out for in the county? What kind of players?
Well, it's fantastic to see Cian Mackey back in a Cavan jersey. He wasn't there last year, and Cian has been vital to how Cavan have played this year, and when they've played well, Cian has played really well. Gerard McKiernan in the middle of the park, you know, GMAC is he's an absolute machine, and if he's playing well as well, Cavan are playing well. There's key players in each team, and these are our key players: Cian Mackey, Gerard McKiernan, David Givney, and then we need Martin Dunn scoring well in the forward line. Our backs, you know, we do have good backs. You know, you've got Alan Clark at centre back, you've got Damien Riley from Belturbet on the wing, and you've got Rory Dunn playing full back. You've got Fergal Flanagan can come in there as well. You know, there are good defenders there. We just need to get our key players playing well. If they play well, Cavan play well.
I think Terry Hyland's honeymoon period is over, and, you know, has he gelled yet with this senior team like he did with the under-21s?
Well, I haven't not been in the dressing room. You wouldn't be able to say that. You know, I last year when I was in the dressing room up until May, and I have to say he has a great way about him with the younger lads. They all respect him, and you know, they all know what Terry is about. Terry calls a spade basically, and you know, which is fantastic in a manager. And I think that he really will. He'll bring these lads along, and there'll be no bones about it. He'll tell them where they're going wrong and where they're going right. Oh,
that's great. We'll look at All About Sport. We'll be getting to some of them up and coming games, so make sure to tune in and look out for them games. But stay with us. We're going to go to some ad breaks, and stay with us. When we come back, we're going to be talking about club football, and just to take into consideration the league kicked off this weekend, so we're looking forward to have a chat about that.
Pat Short here. You're watching Cavan TV.
I'm Gavin Duffy, and I'm saying watch cavantv.com. It's a great opportunity to see some great programs, and you can watch it all around the globe via the internet and on many platforms. I watch it myself. Great stuff.
Thank you, Dave. Welcome back to All About Sport. Now we're going to turn our attention to club football. The league kicked off last weekend, so we're Micky Brennan is going to give us a rundown of the results. So Micky, you know, good start to the league. Give us a little bit of rundown there of the results. You're starting with the Division 1 as well.
Yeah, I'll start with Division 1A. You know, there has been a couple of upsets throughout the weekend in club football. Starting off, the major one was Cavan Gales 10 points, Castleratton 11 points. Castleratton came to Terrycoyle Park and probably weren't expected to beat Cavan Gales, but did, and won by a point. Again,
close game.
Cian Mackey, the guy that we've been talking about with the county, apparently he gave a masterclass of football in Terrycoyle last Sunday, and Cavan Gales were unfortunate to be on the end of it and lost by a point. Rammer gave Den a bit of a beating. It was Rammer 2-12, Den 1-7. You know, Rammer have Jack Brady there. I'm not sure how Jack got on in that game, but you know, I'm sure he put up a bit of a score. Mullahoran, last year's senior championship winners, 11 points, lacking 5 points, lacking last year's intermediate championship winners. Now that, you know, that's probably an unfair look back on that game, because Lacken were missing both Trevor Crowe and Joe Crowe and Finbar O'Reilly.
So they'd be very
prominent
players,
very prominent players for Lacken. So I don't think Lacken are as bad as that result may look. Kings Court beat Lavey 110-16. I was a bit surprised at that one myself, because Ray Cullivan has switched allegiance from Ballyhaise to Lavey. Lavey are a very strong team. I thought that he'd boost them a little bit, and that they probably would have got a draw at least against Kings Court, but Kings Court came away winning that by 4 points. And then Cucullins were playing Ballinya. Ballinya beat them very well, 216 to 7 points. Leaves Ballinya top of the table. Ballinya are very strong. Yep. They've got 4 county players. Well, they had 4 guys on the county panel this year, and you know, Ballinya are always going to be thereabouts when it comes to Division 1 and Senior Championship. Very strong. Division 1B, I don't like the first result. That's Red Hills versus Drumlee.
Now, Mickey, you scored 1 point from a free. You know, not a great start to the league for Drumlee, is it really?
Yeah, thanks for that, Louise.
Had to point that out.
You needed to bring that up for me. Yeah.
What happened? What happened, Drumlee?
Well, we played a good Red Hill side.
Yeah, it was strong.
In fairness, they are a good, strong side. We were probably unfortunate. We had a couple of injuries last week and a couple of lads that weren't well. You know, we went into that game probably under strength. Now, don't get me wrong, Red Hills were very good. They're very strong down the middle. They've Rory Dunn playing full back, and they've got Pierce West playing centre back, and Packy Leddy on the 40 playing centre forward. You know, they're big lads, they're a big team, and they'll do very well this year under new management with Paul McCurry. We had a couple of chances, Drumlee, in the second half.
Yep.
At the start of the second half, we had 3 goal chances. We missed them. If we got 1, maybe 2 of them, it could have been a different game. So I'm still not.
Who
totally
were your biggest kind
disappointed.
of out of in Division 2? Who are you worried about? What teams are you most worried about meeting? From Drumlee's point of view.
Well, in Division 1B, there's every team has the chance of beating any other team. It's probably the most competitive division in the whole of the 4 divisions. Each team could beat any other team on their day. You know, when you look down through it, all the teams are on a par. Any of them could win this league.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. Red Hills, you know, could beat us this week and go out next week and lose to one of these.
So it's probably
teams.
early days, really,
It's
to kind of, you
it
know,
is. It's very early days.
call it really.
I wouldn't be judging Drumlee just yet. Or judging Drumlane on their win. Actually, funnily enough, Drumlane are up next. Yeah.
Well, funny enough, I mean, I've played with Drumlane, but I'm not actually a Drumlane person.
Right.
I'm not a Drumlane person or a Drumlane woman. I'm actually Kildallan, but it's complicated.
I'll get
it's
to
very
Kildallan's
complicated.
result as well. Then, so
The next fixture we're looking at there.
The next game in Division 1B after Red Hills bet Drumlee was Drumlane 2 goals and 4 points and Killygarry 8 points. A last minute goal actually from a 17-year-old Philip King. Right. He was just after coming on as a substitute and won the game for Drumlane with a fantastic goal, I believe. Which was
looks like a lot of the older players haven't been back, just from looking back at that.
I don't see Barry Corrigan
exactly
in there at all.
And they've been very prominent players, you know, for Drumlane over the years.
That's it.
Maybe they've just hung up their boots
as well, you know. And
old age.
Old age. Maybe I should take a leaf out of the
I hope they're not watching. They won't be happy to hear that. But I mean, they've enjoyed their years, I'm sure, with Drumlane, but
that's it.
Just, you know, I think that year with Drumlee bet them, it didn't.
I'd say, that
ruffled their feathers. That ruffled all their feathers.
Broke their hearts in
It did.
2010.
And I suppose like that, like most of the teams there, they've lost a lot of players to emigration and stuff. So, but anyway, we're all in the same boat. Sorry, move on there, Mickey.
Next up was Drumgoon and Gowna. I believe this was a bit of a feisty affair, but Gowna came out on top. 2 goals and 7 to 1-7. Now the news on the ground is that that it was a feisty affair. I didn't hear of anybody being sent off or whatever.
This is Drumgoon.
Drumgoon and
the upper end of those
yeah,
parts.
yeah.
I must get on to them. Yeah. Oh,
well, you're never going to have it easy when you're playing Gowna. That's for sure.
All right, not Gowna as opposed to Drumgoon. Oh gosh.
Next up was Ballyhaise and Crusherlaw. Talking to a few guys after this game, it was a poor game. It was a low scoring game, 1 goal and 5 to 1 goal and 5. It was a draw match. It wasn't going to light up any.
Do you think the teams were evenly matched, or?
Yeah, probably evenly matched. And then Ballyhaise missing Ray Cullivan, who's gone to Lavi. You know, he would have been their powerhouse. You know, they're probably missing a little bit there with him.
So they haven't gelled with their new manager yet. It's just taking time to.
That's it, yeah. And missing Ray Cullivan from midfield is a big loss for them. You know, there was only 1 game left in Division 1B but it was called off. It was Cootail and Bilturbet, so they'll live to fight another day. So they will.
The Rories.
Division 2, funnily enough, only 2 games went ahead in Division 2. Drung were playing Baileyborough. Baileyborough won 8 points to 6. Again, a low scoring game. The pitch in Drung wouldn't be the best at this time of the year, so I'd say that had a lot to do with the fact that it was a low scoring game.
Yeah, I hope it's not flooded like Drum Lane's training field. I just saw photos in the Celt.
Flooded.
And Drung's not a great pitch, it's like a bog, really, isn't it?
Just remember, Louise said it was a bog, not me.
I do apologise if anyone from Drung is watching this. Yeah, I take that back.
And I'll just get you out of trouble here. So, and in the second game that was played in Division 2, Cavan Gales played Cornafane in Cornafane and won 10 points to 7. Swallenbar, Killashandra, Munchaconic, Lara, Killincare and Mount Nugent, none of those games went ahead, so they all had a free week as well.
Okay.
Then Division 3, your team, because you're
Kildallan as well, yeah.
Kildallan 1-9, Shannon Gales 1-14. That would have been a local derby. Yeah. Shannon Gales and Kildallan. 5-point win. Good scoring game though at the same time, 1-9 to 1-14. I'm sure Kildallan will be looking forward to working on that for the next game. Good bunch of lads down there. Templeport 1-7, Ballymacue 1-7, a draw match. Curla 1-6 and Kill 2-12. That was a 9-point win for Kill. Butler's Bridge were playing against Mahara. Again, I was talking to a man and he told me that it was a very, very tough game. There was 1 sent off for Mahara. From reports that I've heard, that there could have been about 4 or 5 of them sent off. Yeah, it was a dogged match now from what I heard. But Butler's Bridge came out on top with a 10-point win over Mahara. Knockbride, Shercock and Arva were not playing in Division 3.
Right, brilliant. Mickey, thanks for that. That's been a great rundown of what's been going on and a great start to the league. And I look forward to kind of following what's to come. You know, what clubs, I suppose it's hard to call. Is there any clubs, you know, that you know we should look out for this year?
Yeah, it's hard to know, but at this stage, judging by results, it's hard to guess or whatever. Ballinyan, Division 1, definitely a team to look out for this year. They always are, in fairness to them. Mullahoran are always hard beat. Do
you think they'll retain, you know, their title?
It'll be very hard for them to retain their title, but they'll be thereabouts. You know, they'll be in the shake-up when it comes to quarter-final, semi-finals of the championship, and King's Court as well. And then again, you can never rule out Cavan Gales. You know, Cavan Gales, although they've had a bad start, bad year last year, I think they'll be coming back with Joe O'Connor over them this year. I think that he'll harden them up and they'll definitely be thereabouts. Not to mention Trumbull as well, of course. Yeah,
of course. You know, what about Lara and Lacken, the junior and intermediate champions?
Yeah, Lacken have.
So they've had Jason Riley staying on with them again this year. So
yeah, that's right.
He really turned the team around.
He did,
so,
yeah. Well, Lacken are a very strong team.
Yeah.
They are a very strong team. They probably they were relegated a couple of years ago back down to intermediate.
Yeah.
It's great to see them winning it straight away and coming back up. They're a very good side, and they can definitely stay up in senior level. They're good enough to be up there. You know, they've got Ray Galligan there, full forward. He could kick a free from 60 yards either side of the pitch, and he's got a great pair of hands in him. Great man to get a goal. They've got the 2 Crows, and they've got Finbar Riley there as well. Like they do have they're an aging team, but they're still a good team.
Yeah.
Lara have a lot of young fellas coming through. they've done well over the last few years at underage, and again, I think that they can stay in intermediate. I don't see them winning it. I don't see them winning it for a few years now, but you know, they could definitely stay and make their mark in intermediate level.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm well, hopefully for I suppose Lara, they can, you know, hang in there.
That's it. Yeah.
One thing, don't want to have to kind of
they don't want to be a yo-yo club going back down to junior.
Yeah.
They have won the junior title now. I think it's maybe 3 or 4 times since I came to Cavan. They've won the junior title. You know, so that means that they're getting promoted back up to intermediate level, but then being relegated, winning the junior, being relegated, and you don't want to be that kind of club. We had it ourselves in Drumballee. We won the intermediate championship in 2006. We went back down in 2007, and then we won it in 2010. Now we want to, you know, progress from that. You don't want to be going back down and just playing at a certain level. You want to be playing at the top level.
Yeah.
So,
sounds great. You're going to be busy this year with the new arrivals. So
that's correct, yeah.
will this be? Would you ever say this will be your last year of football, or? Not too soon to call.
No, I wouldn't. I'd never say. I can never see myself giving up football. I'll always be involved in some way, shape, or form. But as you said, I have I have a set of twins on the way. They're actually due at the minute.
Yeah.
The phone is over there just in case.
Just in case.
So I'm hoping, we don't know what sex the children are, so we're hoping for 2 little boys. So we'll have Drumballee, kicking ball for Drumballee, and kicking ball for Cavan as well.
I thought you were going to say 1 in a Cavan jersey, 1 in a Meath jersey. Oh. Never say never. Micky Brennan, thanks a million for coming in and joining us on All About Sport.
Pleasure,
and just to point out to our viewers that Micky will be a regular visitor on this show, and he will be giving us lots of updates in the coming months on what's happening with football here in Cavan at county and at club level. So I really hope you've enjoyed having him on the show tonight. And again, that's it from All About Sport for this week. I'd like to thank you all for watching worldwide, all over the world. A big shout out, and remember to tune in again next week. Thank you very much, and good night.